everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to give you my June TBR. So, May kind of rocked my world because the book haul revisit was large, and that is my main way, generally, of making my TBR, because if it's a lot of books, it is really consuming, and I am dedicated to that video series because I love it. It is so motivating. If you don't know, if you haven't seen, it's nothing reinventing the wheel. It's just I watch my book hauls from 2 years ago and see what I've read. So in May, I had to read a lot, and so I'm a little gun shy. So this is going to be a pile of possibilities, and there's one readathon that I just can't pass up. So it is the Amazing Race readathon. I think it's the Amazing Readathon, maybe. It's hosted by Bree from Four Paws in a Book, as well as a whole bunch of other people. And if you've ever seen The Amazing Race, my dad and I used to watch it like faithfully together, and we always said that like if either of us were to ever go on the show with the other one, it would, or if either of us were to go on the show, it would be with the other one, because my dad is very easygoing and I am very get stuff done, type A. You know, we balance each other well. And it is just a show that I have loved forever since I was a middle school, high schooler, I don't know. And so I really want to participate. And this year she is doing a team that is a non-competitive team. So the premise, like I said, is that it's all through Discord, I believe. I'll link her video down below. But she will like announce the pit stops and where you're going and all of that. And so all these prompts correspond to books, and she'll announce where you're going when. And if you finish the book before another one's announced, there's extra things you can do, all of that. Well, when you are on a competitive team, there's multiple competitive teams you can choose. And when you're on a competitive team, you have to read whatever that pit stop is. However, if you're on the non-competitive team, you can read these books in whatever order. You're kind of just beating to your own drum, and that feels great to me. The hosts of the non-competitive team are also Krista from Books and Jams, as well as Kara from Kara's Bookshelf. And so I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be on this team, just kind of participating / not participating. We'll just see. So I have a book for each of the prompts, and like I said, hold them loosely because I'm wanting to mood read. I'm not sure what the June book haul revisit is going to look like, but I think it's going to be smaller because the months where the library book sale happens are February, May, August, and November, maybe. I think something like that. And so those are always big months. The ones right after, generally, I'm like, yeah, rein it in. So I'm hoping it's going to be a smaller month. I'm hoping I can get to all of these books, but I'm not guaranteeing it. So let's just get into it. So the prompts are a cozy book or comfort read. So I'm going to be reading A Hopeful Heart by Amy Clipson. This is an Amish book. This is the first in the Hearts of Lancaster Grand Hotel. So this is about a girl named Hannah. She's at a crossroads in her life. Her community offers her love and support after the untimely death of her husband, but an Englisher offers her the chance of a new life after her unexpected tragedy. Wealthy businessman Trey is surprised by his attraction to the gentle Amish woman who works as a housekeeper in the Lancaster Grand Hotel. They share a common bond of loss and are able to offer each other comfort and support as they travel through their grief. So a book about grief is comforting, right? Joshua Glick wants nothing more than to offer his friendship and love to Hannah and her family. Not only is he her late husband's brother and business partner, he's always been in love with Hannah. So a little bit, it says, filled with surprising twists as she tries to balance her life in the Amish community and her growing love for an outsider. So I like something about the wholesomeness of Amish books is always comforting to me. So there's that. Then our next prompt is a book with romance. So you guys, what I did is I just looked at my spreadsheet and scrolled from the top. I had author's last name in the ascending order. And so the first romance I have is The Rehearsals by Annette Christie. So I've heard mixed things about this, and this is a hardcover though. So I want to get it read and either off my shelf or, onto my read shelf. So this says 2 people, 1 wedding. Golly, I look like a Oompa Loompa. 2 people, 1 wedding, no end in sight. A clever, enchanting story about finding our way back to ourselves and those we truly love. Megan and Tom are heading to what's supposed to be their magical wedding weekend on beautiful San Juan Island. Inseparable since college, each has long dreamed of this day and bringing their very different worlds together at last. But with 2 difficult families, 12 years of history, and too many painful secrets, they find that things go quickly wrong. After a disastrous rehearsal dinner, Megan and Tom vow to call the whole thing off, only to wake up the next morning stuck in a time loop. together. Are they really destined to relive the worst day of their lives over and over? And what happens if their wedding day does arrive? So, I love books that play with time. So here's this. Then our next prompt is a book with a green cover. So I have another romance, Adam and Evie's Matchmaking Tour. This is pretty small, and it's one that I was given by the publisher. I've heard it's a little bit steamy. I'm not sure. Two stubborn hearts, one whirlwind adventure. Evie Lang's life is in shambles. On the heels of losing her beloved aunt, she unceremoniously is fired from her poetry professorship by her secret boyfriend. Lacking income and inspiration, she's stuck in Ohio with no idea how to move forward until hope arrives in a surprising letter. Auntie Howe maybe left Evie her San Francisco row house, a place full of Evie's happiest memories. The catch? To inherit, she must go on a prearranged matchmaking tour in Vietnam. The last thing Evie wants to do is spend time with a group of strangers looking for love, but she can't resist a chance to finally visit her family's native home. So then there's a guy named Adam. He's working around the clock as a CMO for his sister's matchmaking business. It's going to be, I think, an enemies to lover, but this summertime, I love to armchair travel because we don't really travel much right now, so it's fun to do. Then we have a book with low ratings that you think you'll love. So this one is a hard maybe. The Friends We Keep by Holly Chamberlain. So Holly Chamberlain gets just brutal ratings on Goodreads. Her books are all so low, and I've read one or two and really liked them. So I'm hoping that I'm going to like this one. This one is about a girl named Sophie. She's a college freshman, and she meets Eva and John, forging the kind of deep friendship that seemed destined to last forever. But time proved otherwise, and Sophie married and moved to Los Angeles. Now, 2 decades later, newly divorced and adrift, she has to return to Boston, and she reaches out to the people who wants to find her world. Though they've stayed in the same city, Eva and John too have grown apart. Eva's ambitious and advertising exec who favors flings over relationship. John is a dedicated lawyer wondering if he's too late for love and marriage. And their connection comes back once Sophie's back in town, of course. So yeah, I think it's going to be great. We'll see. But the ratings do definitely scare me. Then we have a book that takes place in a large city. So nonfiction will always have Paris. This is a mother-daughter memoir by Jennifer Coburn. So this is about how her daughter and her passport taught Jennifer to live like there's no tomorrow. So my mom and I used to travel a lot together. We don't now that I've got a whole brood of kids, but I have visions of one day doing this with my daughters. And so I'm really hopeful. This is a long book, but the font's really big, margins are big, and I know they go to multiple big cities. Then we have, a violent word in the title. So we have The Impossible Knife of Memory by Lori Halls Anderson. I'm saying knife is the violent word. This is a YA. So I'm kind of like preparing for potential slumpiness by having a YA, by having some really lighthearted stuff, by having some nonfiction. I'm hoping I'm setting myself up for success. So this is when you're forced to grow up too fast, it's hard to slow down. Haley has 2 jobs, attending high school and caring for her father, a war veteran who suffers from PTSD. They never stay in one place for too long, always picking up and leaving as soon as the demons touring Andy become too much to bear. But when Haley meets Finn, she finally allows herself to let go, finding solace in every moment they spend together. He becomes her refuge, her home. Then Andy's symptoms begin to resurface, and Haley is forced to make a decision. Continue to keep running from her father's illness, or face reality for a chance to hold on to the one thing that makes her truly happy. So I love a good YA. Then, kind of on the flip side, we have a celestial or godly word in the title. So I'm going to say Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson, mercy being the godly word, I guess. And this is it's a nonfiction about the unforgettable true story about the redeeming power of mercy. Brian Stevenson is a young attorney, and he defended the poor, wrongly convicted, and those trapped in the furthest reaches of our criminal justice system. One of his first cases was that of Walter McMillan, a young man sentenced to die for a notorious murder he did not commit. So I've heard such good things about this, and it's been on my shelf a while, so we'll see. Hopefully I can get to it. Then we have a book that is shorter than the last book you read, which again, because I'm not reading these in a specific order, that's going to be tricky. So I pulled the shortest fiction book off my shelf, which is The Bad Parents by S.L. Harker. This is, instead of hosting trivia nights, the parents on Madison Lane decided to play a whole new set of rules. Anything goes. Petra, Dawn, and Amy are about to indulge in their darkest fantasies, and it all goes on behind closed doors, behind perfect picket fences and manicured lawns, until someone pushes those fantasies too far. I'm going to stop there, but Suburban Mama Drama, another one of my favorites. Then we've got a couple more. An over-the-top cover. So I don't know what that means. I'm going to say Mr. Maybe by Jane Green, just because, what is this cover? What is this cover? Jane Green writes chick lit, kind of women's fiction stuff in a way that is just, I don't know. It's unlike any other. I just read one of hers that I really didn't like. So this says, let's see, Jane Green delivers the wildly funny story of two totally opposite guys, one lovelorn career girl and the universal quest for the perfect mate. So this is about, to Libby, Mr. Right has always meant Mr. Rich, a 27-year-old publicist. She's barely able to afford her fashionable and fabulous lifestyle and often has to foot the bill for dates with struggling writer Nick, a perpetually strapped for cash guy she's dating. No commitments, really. So when Ed, Britain's wealthiest but stodgiest bachelor, enters into the picture, her idea of the fairy tale romance is turned on its head. So Mr. Maybe is the tale of her heartfelt but hilarious deliberation, irresistibly chronicled by best-selling author Jane Green. So a little love triangle, probably going to be problematic, but, you know, we'll see. Then last is a book with a chilling cover or a winter setting. So this is the only one I could find, truthfully. The Orphans Tale by Pam Jenoff. So historical fiction, not my favorite thing to read in the summer. Not my favorite thing to read in a readathon, but that's okay. We're going to see how it goes. So this is a powerful novel of friendship set in a traveling circus during World War II. Circus is also like an anti-buzzword for me. So this introduces two extraordinary women and their harrowing stories of survival and sacrifice. So this is about a 16-year-old. She's been cast out in disgrace after becoming pregnant by a Nazi soldier and being forced to give up her baby. She lives above a rail station, which she cleans in order to earn her keep. She discovers a boxcar containing dozens of Jewish infants bound for a concentration camp. Oh, and she's reminded of the child that was taken from her. Holy moly, kiss the baby. And in a moment that will change the course of her life, she snatches one of the babies and flees into the snowy night. So interesting. So that's everything that I'm planning for the month. Like I said, I don't know what's going to be in the book haul revisit. I really want the flexibility to just mood read. And so I'm hoping this will give me enough variety. But the prompts are also very vague. And she did that intentionally. So you can, not be too hemmed in, especially if you are doing a competitive team. Like I said, I'll have her announcement video linked down below. There's all sorts of, there's a doc, there's a Discord, there's all sorts of things. But that's the only thing that I'm like committing to besides the book haul revisit. I don't know. I know there's a lot going on in the summer with readathons and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see. We'll just see where June takes us. So what are you doing? What are you reading? Tell me all the things. Tell me your plans for June. We have very little plans. One of my kids has a birthday, but otherwise we plan to be at the pool and just hanging out, doing all the things. So that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.